Good morning and welcome to Show Me St. Louis. I'm Mary Colbrighter.
And I'm Malik Wilson. Thank you for tuning in.
Oh, today is certainly a special day. It is the 30th anniversary.
30th anniversary! We should got some confetti.
Oh, we should have done that. Maybe some fireworks.
Oh, this is fireworks.
This is
Check
fireworks.
This logo.
We're so
Throwing it back.
excited about this entire show. We're really taking a trip down memory lane.
We are.
And
yes,
it's a
we
crazy
are.
trip. So
Yes.
y'all need to buckle up, put in your
I'm buckled
seatbelts. We have an hour-long special.
Woo.
Are you ready to get after it?
Are you ready?
I am so
Does this
ready.
not show that I'm ready?
I am
Are
so
you ready?
I'm so ready. We're taking a look back at how it all started and how it's still going strong today. Take a look.
Show me.
Live from Television Plaza, it's Show Me St. Louis with John Hertzborn and Debbie Turner.
Show me. Show me.
Are you feeling ready? Ready to get into this?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, well, right off the top, we're gonna test your memory here. Debbie, what do you remember about your first day on Show Me St. Louis?
Oh my goodness.
Was it Labor Day?
Was it September 5th,
September
1995?
95, right.
And I believe we went on the air on a Tuesday.
I have no idea what was on the show that day.
As an intern, I was super intimidated.
We want you to tell us about your very first day on Show Me St. Louis. What did that look like? And do you remember your first segments?
No, I don't. Guys, that was 30 years ago. It was before you people were born.
I watched it as a viewer, and it was really exciting when I got to join the show and actually do those stories and show people St. Louis. The funny thing is my husband is from St. Louis, and I knew more about St. Louis from doing Show Me St. Louis than he did.
I was audio for the first 20, and I remember I was in awe of Debbie Turner.
Well, it was a dream come true because Show Me St. Louis was the dream.
At the end of my 3-year stint for doing Today in St. Louis, they offered me the 5 p.m. anchor job, along with the Queen, Karen Foss. And then they also said, and what would you think about hosting Show Me St. Louis? And I said, I mean, those are two perfect worlds. You get to tell everyone the fun things about St. Louis, do fun stories, and then that kind of balances out the bad stuff when you're doing local news.
But I had met everybody prior to getting here. There was a big group interview, so I'd met Jordan and Debbie and Pertz and Dan and Wendy Bell.
I just knew it was going to work. I mean, there were doubters in the market, but there was no doubters in that room. Every day when we got together, we knew we were going to make something special, and the show just from day one had an appeal that I don't think, at least I had not experienced in my 14 years. I had never seen television come to life the way Show Me came to life.
The biggest thing going back then for youth was MTV, right? So when we first originally started Show Me, all our live shots, we hadn't found our place yet. We're doing Dutch tilts. We're doing shaky video. So you have the rest of the whole St. Louis area, the news people, they're like, what is going on? Why is your so shaky? We're trying to just be creative and create something at this point. That all came from MTV.
So the show started, and I can't remember other than they didn't want any ties. We were to wear these shirts, and some of the sweaters were so loud. It's embarrassing to occasionally look back when you do the Throwback Thursday and see some of the clothing that we wore. I lost my mustache. I wish I could find it again. It was the cheesiest mustache. I basically grew that because I wanted to look older. I mean, I started here when I was in my 20s.
There is always a story to be told, and St. Louis has more of them than anywhere. Kind of coming in as an intern, I felt like it was my baby. I'm on this show, and Ozzie Smith comes into the station and says, "Hey, Heidi," and I'm like, I immediately, walked out of the studio, called my mom, and I'm like, "You are never gonna believe who I just saw," and he knew my name. I'm like, what? That little 10-year-old girl in New Madrid could never have dreamed that big.
I worked in the restaurant business at Ozzy's Restaurant and Sports Bar forever, and I told them all, I'm gonna be on Show Me St. Louis someday, I'm gonna be on Show Me, like that is my dream. And after I got on the show, the old manager said, I remember you always told us you're gonna be on Show Me St. Louis, and I accomplished my dream. It was such an honor.
Oh, how about that? Did that just give you chills?
It does give me chills.
Do you remember your first day?
I was gonna ask you, do you remember? I do.
I don't.
I do.
I don't.
I remember my first day. I do. I definitely do. It was my dream also to be on this show.
Yeah.
When I was in North Dakota, it was my dream, and to see all these flashbacks and walks through memory lane, and I know we have so much more to go, but it just gives you chills.
It gives you chills.
Yeah,
and we have a lot of excitement ahead of us. Coming up today on the show, thanks for looking a little different from 1995. Malik hits the streets with Dan Buck after the break. And welcome back to Show Me St. Louis's 30th anniversary special. Malik, I am so excited for this next story.
Yeah, Mary. One thing I have learned from prepping for this special is that things look a little different than they did back in '95. Here is my afternoon with Dan Buck.
Hey, listen up, John, Debbie, and Rosemary.
You may remember this iconic Show Me legend.
You become a giant. Hey!
That's right, Dan Buck.
I'm feeling funny.
Today, as part of our 30th anniversary, I was overly excited to walk down memory lane with the legend himself.
Hey, Malik, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Yeah.
With the plan.
Here at 5 on Your Side in downtown St. Louis, we began our tour, of course, in the studio where all the magic used to happen.
All right, this is the studio.
The old studio.
Yeah.
That's great. Awful nice in here. It does not, our set did not look this good, and the lights were a heck of a lot brighter.
Well, some things remain the same though, like old relationships.
So where's Swanker's office? Where's Randy?
Right back here to the left.
He's the new chief photographer now?
The big guy.
You know, he was one of the original photographers, and he was a rock star, and there he goes! Baby! What's up, buddy? How are you, man? Good to see you, bro.
Most of everything else, brand new.
How long has it been, you said, since you've been off air? We're here at Show Me?
Since 2002.
2002. You guys had the big vans, right?
Yes.
So, do you know what this is?
That looks like a old tape deck, but it's got to be, oh my gosh, that's a live truck?
This is our satellite.
Are you joking me?
And I'm Dan Buck at Mason Hollow.
Dan recalled his times going live out in the field using the big satellite trucks, which in fact we still have.
Oh, it's open.
So everything's about half the size that it was. It's a smaller van. It's a lot less equipment.
If you ever want to get some young people excited, invite this guy to your party.
From iconic interviews with singer-songwriter Usher on Television Plaza, to Dan recalling his career being taken to new heights. Quite literally.
Malik, let me show you something.
Okay.
So you should be able to find in your archives where I got up on a hatch and walked out next to that giant statue on the very top of the old Civil Courts building.
It's safe to say Dan Buck's time with Show Me St. Louis was nothing short of amazing, and to whom he thanks the community.
What I loved about it was it brought people from all parts of the metropolitan area. We would have people coming in all the way from Franklin County or Jefferson County to promote their fair or their festival, and to me it made us realize how big Show Me St. Louis was, that these people relied on us for getting the news out of everything that was good about our community. It was awesome.
Oh, how about that? And the fun continues. Coming up today on the show, we've got some wild behind-the-scenes stories. Our 30th anniversary special continues after the break.
He's one of the hottest players in Cardinal baseball, in statistics and in the looks department. I wasn't gonna even talk about it, but I was like, so many people ask me about this story. He was just named the MVP of the World Series. So Six Flags called, did Million Stories with them. They said, okay, we're gonna make our ride Mr. Freeze go backwards, and we're gonna have a bunch of on-air people ride the ride with David Freeze. So I go and I ride the ride with them. But before I even did that story, I was like, what am I gonna talk to David Freeze about? I don't watch sports at all. I was trying not to call him the Super Bowl MVP. And so I asked Facebook, what should we talk to David Freeze about? And everybody said, all these women, oh, ask him if he'll marry me. Ask him if he'll be my boyfriend. And I was like, okay, let's take the story in that direction then. I brought along my bestie and Cardinal fanatic friend, Allison. That way I didn't feel so bad when I embarrassed myself. This is how this interview is gonna go. We can be really silly, we can have lots of fun, and basically Allison and I, we're gonna hit on you heavily.
Okay, we'll see how this works out.
You had a huge year last year, and I think what everybody wants to know is, do you have a girlfriend?
No, I don't have a girlfriend, I'm single.
Did you hear that?
Are you saying there's a chance?
And I was like, so, do you like blondes or brunettes?
I don't have a preference on hair.
It aired, and people on Channel 5 loved it. They were like, oh my God, can we air that on the news? It aired on the Noon News, the 5, the 6. I think they put it on the 10. And it wasn't until our sports show put it on the sports show when people flipped out about it. They were like, who is this girl flirting with David Freese? And the headline that this online magazine put, reporter flirts with David Freese. So anyway, people always ask me about that story, and I was like, at least David Freese will never forget me, because the Cardinals thought it was funny. And my friends all said, that's just Julie being Julie, she's being goofy. But nobody got it. And is my hair messed up?
No, it looks good. You're right.
David Freese is awesome. Well, thank you so much for riding Mr. Freese with me.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
My craziest moment on Show Me St. Louis was with Malik Wilson and Kenny Koger, and we were at Circus Flora. Here's this circus performer and a horse, and he says, you're gonna stand up here with me. And if you know me, I'm not very coordinated, all right?
That's right, we're at Circus Flora. Mary, how's it feel up there?
Oh, we're doing good. Stay tuned, we're running off to the circus. Kenny didn't want me to do it.
I tried to tell, no, I just couldn't, no, that was not gonna go well. You standing up on the back of a horse? No.
But I did it. Thank you, Kenny.
What is my craziest moment?
Now, this is by far one of the craziest assignments that I've ever been on, simply because of the outcome.
Going out to hang out, show me catfishing. Their claim to fame is taking folks out onto the Mississippi River and teaching people how to fish, and promising them that they're going to catch big game fish. They promised that I would catch at least an 80-pound fish, and I did. I caught an 80-pound whopper catfish. I have the picture to prove it. We have the video to prove it.
80.
Picture perfect.
But one of my favorite stories was probably my last day at Show Me.
Our mission today is as follows. Make the one who's shown us some of her best moves farewell unforgettable.
I really don't know why I'm here. I think Randy Schwenker was the photographer. I can't remember.
She'll have the opportunity to learn from one of the best.
I'm known to sing throughout the newsroom, and especially in the Show Me office at the time. It was a small office, so I would sing a lot. I'm not a singer, but I play one on TV.
Now, it shouldn't come as a surprise that Kelly likes to sing.
You want a local singing now, yeah.
She's taken practically every opportunity to put her talent
Coming to the plaza and there
or lack thereof on display.
Kumbaya, my Lord, it's getting hot in her.
So today, unbeknownst to her,
so where are we going? And we were driving through St. Louis. I'm like, where are they taking me? So we get out of the car. She walks me to the front door. It's Fontella Bass. Fontella Rescue Me Bass.
They told me it was your last day. Sing it, girl. At Show Me Fine. Oh, but we surprised you, Kelly. Oh, we got you singing the blues. Holler one time for me. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, this is so much fun. So much fun. Yeah, yeah. Singing the blues with Kelly Jackson. Sing it, sing it, Fontella. Whoa, whoa. Yeah.
Now, of course, I embarrassed myself, I'm sure, but it was such a touching moment, and also a moment that was pure St. Louis, because she's from St. Louis. And that I will never forget. And I just bow down to Heidi for even thinking of that.
So Jim Carrey's rise was kind of at the same time Show Me St. Louis was starting to get popular, and people would say, oh, you look like Jim Carrey or whatever. So of course you naturally have to buy into some of the moments when it worked to say, somebody stop me, you know, or something along those lines. And I'll never forget, he was doing Hot Tub Lifeguard.
You guys got a big selection of
On
spots.
Saturday Night Live. At the time, I got assigned a hot tub story at Mr. B's Pool and Spas, and it was just too natural. It was like too perfect of a fit, so we did our version of Hot Tub Lifeguard, which I'm not sure everybody was as in favor of it, but the station got incredible rave reviews from Mr. B's. They said their phones rang off the hook. And for me, it was like a reinforcement that creativity wins the day. That if you kind of break from the norm of just giving phone numbers and addresses and, you know, talking points, and really focus on doing something crazy and creative and finding that little cute niche. In our case, it was the Jim Carrey impersonation of the Hot Tub Lifeguard. That it sells. It sells equally as good as just giving the facts and figures. That we knew that creativity could win the day.
Buzz! Where'd she go? Where did who go? The gal who was in here. You must have been dreaming. Next time you want to try out one of our spas, let us know first. Oh.
All right, how about that? Still ahead on the show, the party continues. How to continue watching the Show Me St. Louis 30th anniversary special.
Ironically, our interview today was at 3 o'clock. I don't know if you know this, but our show was on at 3.
I think Jordan coined was tape it at 3.
Jordan Palmer came up with this great slogan. People wouldn't say Show Me St. Louis, they'd say
Tape it at 3.
Tape it at 3. And that was, of course, some folks watching this today don't even understand what that means. It wasn't a DVR, it's when you actually had a VHS recorder and you had to tape the show. And people did. I mean, it was amazing.
It was appointment television at 3 o'clock. And if you can't watch, you can tape it at 3.
They might not always get the name of the show correct, but if you said tape it at 3, they're like, I watched that show.
Remember, if you can't watch, tape it at 3.
From Tape It at 3 to Stream It on 5, Show Me St. Louis's 30th anniversary special continues on the 5 Plus app.
That's right, but listen, we're gonna go off the ringer just a little bit here because today is our executive producer, Mary Thayer's last day, and it wouldn't be right if we did not give her the farewell that she deserves.
Yes.
So, Mary,
Mary,
I know you're crying back there, but this whole show, you are the backbone to
You
the show,
really
and
are.
we will truly miss you.
Yes, we will miss you so much, Mary. Thank you for all your dedication, for your hard work, for your passion for Show Me St. Louis. She's from St. Louis. She has
Yes.
put all of her love and
All of
heart
it. All
into
of
this show and all the shows. I couldn't think of a better special to go off on. Thank you,
We're
Mary.
hugging you from the studio.
We love you.
We're
We'll see you
hugging
on
you.
the 5 Plus app, everyone. The show continues.
It was a golden time, and when you say pick one, it is so hard. I will say probably the most watched story once we started streaming was a Hey Heidi, which I started when I was on Today in St. Louis and then carried through when I came back to Show Me St. Louis. But it was a question many people had. They wanted to know what the castles were in the middle of the river.
So let me show you what I found out.
Stone buildings, not many, have a clear path to. You can't get there. Nobody gets to go in, and it was one of those things that I made phone calls on for probably a year. And finally, Kurt Scobie said,
All right, this way.
We met on a bank, got into a John boat, bumped into one of the castles, crawled up on this, old iron ladder, and there you go. But how many photographers are going to do that? Randy Schwenker.
That was a great story with Heidi, that we were the first people to be able to go into those castles right underneath the Chain on Rocks Bridge, right out in the middle, right? We had to take a boat from the water. Water company brought us out there in a boat, and there's a ladder that you have to climb up. So I'm trying to get up the ladder with the camera, and Heidi's trying to get up, and she's very athletic, and she's up, and I'm trying to hold on to a camera. But just crazy places like that.
That has to be kind of one of the standouts that.
It's really special.
Science.
I had no idea that this much science went into solving a crime.
There's so many. Most of them took place here, though, in our studio, which made the whole control room nervous every single time because we weren't sure how it was really gonna go.
Let's have here, you just hold one hand right here.
But we always managed to have a whole lot of fun.
And having a whole lot of fun is what Show Me St. Louis is all about. Welcome back to Show Me St. Louis's 30th anniversary special. I'm Mary Colwriter.
I am Malik Wilson. Thanks for tuning in as we celebrate 30 big years of local good news.
I mean, this has been so much fun
So much
so
fun,
far.
yeah.
Have we mentioned prior of how these stories have come? But I think we can agree, not only has it been fun, but Malik, journeying with these alumni, we've learned a lot.
Oh, a ton. I mean, just watching, and we've done some radio interviews, which has kind of prepped me for this, but
Yes.
we've watched all of these old clips.
Yeah.
And just from, what's it called, a Dutch
A Dutch tilt. We've been talking about it all morning.
Like, to us, it's just a fun tilt, but like,
Yeah,
even
we're calling
something
it a
is
Dutch
it's
tilt.
a Dutch tilt, and I want to
Yeah.
get up now and like turn the camera and, you know
yeah,
what I
we
mean?
should
Like-
nod it, we should move it, and then make who broke the camera.
Right, but the biggest
wasn't
thing,
us.
the biggest thing I've learned though is that 30 years ago they were having fun, and we're
Yeah,
still having
we're
fun
still
today,
having fun.
and
That's
we
right.
haven't lost that.
That's beautiful. Now, one
Yeah.
thing I also know that I learned is that I need to be doing more experiments at the Science Center. So I ventured off to the iconic St. Louis destination with a woman who knows a thing or two about explosions. Heidi Glaus, take a look.
Live from Channel 5, it's Show Me St. Louis.
They knew if they built it, people would come. That was 1991. And today, the St. Louis Science Center is one of our city's most prized landmarks.
Welcome back to our special edition of Show Me St. Louis. I'm Heidi Glass.
Okay, Heidi, we're here at the Science Center. Now, you said this was one of your favorite memories of Show Me St. Louis.
You know, actually, I mean, there's so many great things about the Science Center, but a lot of times they would come into the studio and blow things up. So you can get a vibe on how nervous it made the control room, and that made it even more fun.
So one of our favorite demos to do is called our flamethrower demonstration, where we get to show everyone that different elements show up as different colors when you light them on fire.
Growing up, science probably wasn't my favorite thing. And then you come here and you get to light a fire. Who doesn't love science?
Right. So a lot of people don't think table salt's gonna be anything interesting until we light it on fire.
Yeah, baby.
Potassium chloride here. All right, next up we have strontium chloride.
Ooh.
Pink fire with lithium.
Oh, wow.
So this is my favorite flamethrower because it's so pretty.
So pretty.
So this is copper chloride, you know, commonly found in pennies, wires, pipes, Statue of Liberty.
What gives us the color?
It's the element. So whenever something is lit on fire like strontium or sodium, it just gets so excited and then it goes, you know what? I'm red. And that's just how they decide it. They say, I feel enough energy to be red today, and then it'll be red forever.
Let's cause trouble today.
Yeah, let's see what we
Make
can do.
an explosion.
I'm gonna make sure I coat the inside of this so that way you get the best explosion possible.
I mean, has anything else ever caught on fire when you're doing this?
I've caught myself on fire. Okay. All of our staff we all catch ourselves on fire pretty regularly.
Okay.
And unfortunately, last year we actually caught the stage on fire.
Okay.
So,
With that said, let's do this.
all right.
Oh my gosh, that was so crazy. Oh, I felt my heart beat. Oh my gosh, that was so wild.
All right. So, are you guys ready for the big explosion?
That wasn't the big one?
That wasn't the big one.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1.
Oh my gosh, that was wild.
So cool.
Wait, that was so cool.
Who doesn't love science after that?
Exactly.
Malik, honestly, that didn't do it justice how loud it was.
My mouth has been dropped for the
It was
last
so
5 minutes.
loud, and they only had one pair of headsets. So Heidi had headsets, and I was over here. And she's like, "Cover your ears," and I was like, cover my ears? Like, where's this going? What's
One
going
thing
to
I've
happen?
learned when the professionals tell you to cover your ears,
Yeah,
they
you
mean
cover
it.
your
They-
ears.
They mean it.
It was next level. And what's cool about the Science Center too, and we didn't mention this in the package, but Heidi and I talked about it, is how it's super accessible, open to everyone.
Yeah.
And they do these shows all the time.
All the time.
So you can actually go and experience that for yourself.
An adventure in our backyard.
Yeah, it's right here in our backyard. And just so you know, Heidi, you've inspired us. We will be setting off explosions in the Show Me Studios for sure.
Oh, for
We're
sure.
about to move buildings.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Might-
wait.
yeah.
Just wait. From explosions to the kitchen, the former host of Show Me St. Louis were certainly talented. I spoke with Debbie Turner about how this show changed her own recipe book.
I had the honor and the excitement of being able to host a cooking segment on the show, and I've always loved to cook. I'm from the South, so I love rich Southern stick to your rib dishes. But I love doing that cooking segment. We did it in people's homes. We did it all over the place. It got to the place where we did the cooking segment in my home, and that was always a lot of fun. But over a period of time, I ran out of recipes, and so someone came up with the grand idea to invite viewers to send in their favorite recipes, and then I would choose one and feature that in our cooking segment. And so that was a lot of fun to get all these recipes. And can I tell you, I have kept those recipes, and many of them I still make. There's one gentleman who sent in a recipe for his prize-winning chili, and I still make that chili, and it still knocks people out every time I make it. So I also owe a great debt of gratitude to Show Me St. Louis for my cooking repertoire, because I still use a lot of those recipes.
That is amazing. I love that.
Then 1 cup of Diet Mountain Dew. Did you ever believe? No. And you're going to just stir this up. And you're going to first think, oh, that cheese is
Mary
sticking
T
in
wants to
the
know if you remember the Diet Mountain Dew cake.
We featured a number of her recipes, and they were always like sugar-free, low-fat, substituting healthier options for the the more rich, calorie-laden options. And it was because, I don't remember the lady's name, but it was because her husband got a health diagnosis and he needed to lose weight. And so she began to change how she cooked for him to help him get healthy, and it turned into this whole thing for her. In fact, I still have one of her newsletters that had recipes in it that I like, that is in my cookbook, Ring Binder. Still use some of those to this day. So I do remember that. I don't remember the details, but I remember her, and her stuff was pretty good.
If that tastes like diet food.
This is good.
And Deb is right. I just had 2 pieces. I didn't finish them. But that's incredible. I mean,
Isn't it good?
there's no sugar in that, yet
Yeah,
it
but
tastes
look.
so rich.
Yeah, there's no sugar in this, and only 6 grams of fat in
It
one little
really is
serving.
good. And
It is
I
good.
wouldn't say that just to impress you, but it is. It's very good.
And you know what? I made this one.
She made it all herself.
Oh, no.
Malik, I don't
Oh,
know if
no.
we have the
Oh, no.
Debbie Turner touch.
We
when it
don't.
comes to
We don't.
cooking
We don't.
In the kitchen. This reminded us of when Malik actually did cook on Show Me St. Louis.
I knew you guys were going to bring that up.
I know, we
I knew
had
you were
to.
gonna bring
We
that
had
up.
to. We had you cook your grandma's salmon recipe.
Yes.
Which we do love your grandma, and I'm sure
We-
this salmon recipe is wonderful.
Yes, the actual recipe is amazing. But I've learned one thing.
What have you learned?
That cooking in studio while
Yes.
talking
Yes.
and doing the whole 9, as you can see here,
Yes.
is not easy.
It's not easy. And where we went wrong was it was the soy sauce. It tricked you.
Yeah, I thought I had everything prepped.
You did.
The
You
key
did.
is prep.
Yes.
And when one thing is off,
Yeah, this is the best. I believe you're going to try to, do you try to bite it off
Yeah.
at one point? Yeah, there it
and
goes.
then the sanitation gets a little
Yes.
messed up. And I wish they would have kept this camera a little earlier.
Yeah.
You know.
So that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
I'm not.
The food wasn't good.
People might have tried this at. I would love to know someone tried this at home.
I haven't
We
gotten any
didn't sell
messages.
it very well.
People like to, let us know when they've tried things.
Yeah.
But I haven't gotten any messages.
Yeah,
about
I
this
do
one,
hope
so
that
please
we
don't.
can maybe be a little bit better, like the Debbie Turner way. I would love to start cooking more.
Yeah.
Send us recipes, but make sure they're approachable and easy.
Yes.
Now, the good thing is, while we might not have expertise expertise in the kitchen. We do know the people to help us get there. So for 3 decades, Show Me has spotlighted some of the best chefs in the country, including the go-to guy, Dominic. And this has been a really fun tradition that Mary Thayer actually brought back.
Yes, and we talked about this the other day. Everybody loves Dominic.
Everybody loves Dominic.
Out of all these throwbacks, Dominic was the go-to guy.
He was the go-to guy, and how could you not? You watch him on camera, he's built for it.
He's perfect.
He's
for
a
TV.
star.
He is.
So it would not be a 30th anniversary special without a trip to Dominic's. Executive producer Mary Thayer joins Julie Tristan and Wendy Erickson for a visit to our Show Me friend.
From the very first season of Show Me St. Louis, one restaurant has been a tradition: Dominic's on the Hill.
Buon appetito.
And 30 years later, we're still here, this time with some familiar faces.
Well, Wendy, Julie, thank you so much for coming to Dominic's on the Hill with me today. This really is a Show Me St. Louis staple.
We came here all the time, Wendy. Best Italian food in St. Louis, no doubt.
Dominic, I've got a surprise for you.
What an honor!
Good luck.
What is all this about?
30 years of Show Me St. Louis.
Oh my God,
Can
we
you
go
believe
back.
that?
I can't believe
We go back about that
30
long.
years, yes. You have been a staple story for Show Me St. Louis for many years. Many of those 30 years.
We gotta go in the kitchen, you gotta help me out, right? Let's go, let's do it.
Dominic wasted no time putting us to work in his kitchen.
Me first, huh?
Go. You do the onion.
Okay. Go, Wendy. Here You can goes do the it. onion. Here You goes do it, the Wendy. onion. How's that? Bufford. I found a guy who cooks, so I don't have to ever do anything.
Fresh garlic.
Oh, never enough garlic.
That's what I always say.
Yeah.
The same lessons he's been sharing with our viewers for 3 decades. Start with olive oil, never skimp on garlic, and keep the pasta al dente.
The first thing about their pasta, it's gotta be al dente, otherwise they won't sleep. They leave.
Basil from his backyard, a splash of brandy.
Brandy. The best part.
What you gonna have?
Secret ingredient.
You're gonna say.
Even a handful of peas.
See the color?
Dominic makes it look easy.
Very true.
The things that you gotta, when you cook, you need 3 things: smell,
Smells good.
taste, and the looks, and the way it looks. You know, those 3 things. Now we gotta add some butter, not too much. There you go. Pasta's al dente. Salt, right?
Delicious.
That's good.
I think it tastes perfect already.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You're pretty good, Dominic.
I'm so good.
You're Dominic. Of course, it's always good. You can't have enough cream, Wendy. Very true.
Or butter. But the secret is more than the ingredients. It's the joy and the love he brings to every dish.
Buonasera, buongiorno. What an honor.
So, Dominic, when I used to do the stories with you back in the day, I would go home and make the recipe at my own house, but it never tasted the same as it did at Dominic's restaurant.
That's the biggest thing I think I've learned so much about cooking from Dominic. And there's tips that I still bring home to my mom.
For Wendy, Julie, and so many of us at Show Me, Dominic's is more than a restaurant.
Our Christmas dinners together. We always would, the whole Show Me office would go to Dominic's for Christmas every year.
Aww.
That was one of my favorite
we need to bring that back too.
It's a place where memories are made. Dominic opened his doors in 1971. He's been part of the Show Me story since the very beginning, feeding St. Louis with food, family, and a whole lot of heart. Here's to the next 30 years of tradition.
My name is Dominic. I'm from Dominic's Restaurant. Congratulations. Happy birthday to Show Me St. Louis. 30 years.
30 years.
God bless. Salud.
Oh, salute!
Salud!
30 years. And we do want to give a thank you to Tom Rogers. He
Yes.
was the behind the camera on that one, and he has been always ready to step in for Show Me St. Louis.
Always.
Those
man.
Halloween shows.
So, oh gosh, Tom is a rock star for
He
our
is
show.
a rock star, so we're very grateful for him. But I think spotlighting people like Dominic, it's really what this show is about and has
Yes.
always been about.
Yes, and time spent on this show has changed lives forever. So take a look.
Keep all glory flying high, from sea to shining sea. That's rather appropriate to these times, isn't it?
People you grow up idolizing. I mean, you know, I got to do the last interview with Jack Buck, and that was amazing.
and all we talked about was poetry.
Jack's poetry and patriotism exploded together last Monday night, the return of baseball following that Tuesday of terror.
We have been challenged by a cowardly foe who strikes and then hides from our view. With one voice we say, we have no choice today.
Tears would equal the cheers at Busch Stadium. Jack himself was overwhelmed by this great American moment.
Usually if you show me a good card trick, I'll cry. If you tell me right now, I'll cry. I can cry on cue. But
That was amazing. He told me come by the stadium after the game and we'll sit down and talk about my poetry book.
Really?
Oh yeah, if you really would.
Well, it's the most important right now before my life ends. And I'm 77 years old. That's not in the poem. Is to try to be kind and earn some new friends, which is really my mission in life. I think it always has been. Some say you're going to live again. I don't know how that could be. But if that is true, I want to come back as me.
That story and that hour and a half in the booth with Jack is truly one of my greatest highlights. You know, grew up listening to this guy. He was your, broadcasting idol. And to hear his passion for poetry and the great work he did with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, it just, it humbled you to realize that this icon of sportscasting had such a caring, unbelievable heart, not only for cystic fibrosis, but for this community and for the people in it, and that he gave so much of himself, even through poetry, to this community. It's just, again, one of those broadcasting highlights I'll never forget.
What story has stood out to me the most has to be my dear friend Al.
Hi, Bertha.
Oh, hi, Al. How are you?
Fine, and you?
It was a story that seemed really simple at first. There was a 95-year-old man that would bike around his neighborhood every single day. And I just loved the fact that he was 95 and he was biking every day.
Her name is Caroline, and she has a dog, Tucker. That dog just loves me.
Al had a really tough health diagnosis.
With your illness, you've got 10 years to live. Now, this is 30 years later, and I'm still living.
Al was diagnosed with scleroderma, now beating the odds at 95 years old. And well, still biking.
He still had this joy to him, and he still had this desire for life. He had told his daughter, I just want to be able to see what my granddaughter grows up to be, and that was a big part of his motivation.
I know I adopted my daughter when she was 2. She's 23 now. And when I got her, he said, I'm gonna live long enough to see what she becomes. And he has.
And you would not know the health journey that he was on and the struggles that he had because he just radiated joy. I think it stood out to me the most because I just hope to be like Al one day.
I've gotten to tell so many stories that I've always dreamed of telling. I've always been fascinated with St. Louis history, St. Louis culture, and I always wanted to tell the story of Wednesday lunches at St. Raymond's.
The original Lebanese families that arrived in St. Louis converted a 4-family flat at 931 LaSalle Street into their church in 1912. In 1976, that flat transformed into what you see today at 931 Lebanon Drive.
My Thaita, my grandmother, was one of the original women that started the kitchen at that church and helped bring a priest to St. Louis so that they could save that church.
The church went without a permanent priest for 23 years. No one thought the church would survive, but it did, because of 15 women in the church's Ladies' Society.
And they kept it going the only way they knew how. They cooked and sold their food. Look at what we have now. I'm sure those old ladies never dreamt of anything like this.
I've always wanted to tell that story. So from St. Raymond's to Soulard Mardi Gras, I sat down with the last living founder of Soulard Mardi Gras. St. Louis has so many stories, and it's been an honor to be able to share them with you.
What happened in those studios and on the streets telling the stories of the St. Louis people, particularly the kids.
I did manage to find.
Do you want to make a trade? I fell in love with children on Show Me St. Louis. So much, in fact. I met my husband in St. Louis, followed him to Pittsburgh, and we had 5 sons. And I credit that to my time working on Show Me St. Louis. Full stop.
Incredible Okay, tell me about that. What was it about this show and about kids? Why did it really change your perspective?
The whole idea of it back in 1995 was legendary. Capture an audience of people who are home in the afternoon, who want to know about their city, want to know about cool things to do with their children, whether they be stay-at-home moms or dads, and then go to all of these wonderful places, tell the story of St. Louis through its history, go into the art museum and the history museum and the Fox Theater. I got to do extraordinary things. But there was nothing more extraordinary than becoming recognizable to children in the city of St. Louis. So much, in fact, that whenever we were live somewhere, literally kids would come over into my live shot and be all around me in my live shot. And my heart was full. Like I'd never felt complete. And it had nothing to do with television, but it had everything to do with being able to chronicle the joy of children in exploring their city. And I fell in love.
How about that?
Yeah.
That portion of the show so far, I think, really just shows what Show Me St. Louis is. And I want to share, we actually recorded our interview where I was talking about Al. That was last week. And a few days later, I happened to have gotten a message from his daughter saying that he had passed away. And she mentioned about the story and being able to go back and watch his memory. And for me, that's what this show and this role is all about. Definitely. I think sometimes people think, oh, TV and bright lights, but like, it shouldn't be. It's not supposed to be about us, and it's about being able to tell stories and celebrate people. And we got to celebrate Al, and like the fact that his legacy will carry on with that story is just such a gift.
And the beautiful thing about this show is the fact that it is TV.
Yes.
And families get to watch this for years and years to go. Dan Buck with the Jack Buck story, you know, his, I think, son reached out to Dan Buck and said, hey, we get to watch this, the pieces you did for years to come. And you guys are telling stories that they wouldn't even share with us sometimes. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm about to tear up just thinking about it, but
Well, I've been talking a lot with people about like, what is your why? And if I had to think of what my why is, it's being able to tell stories and to celebrate people and be a part of their good news.
Yeah, 1,000%. Whether it's good or somber.
Yeah,
so,
it's just.
But our show is happy, so.
Our show is happy, and we're just so excited to celebrate it. It is. It's 30 years, and it has just been such a joy. Now, of course, this show, it couldn't continue for 30 years without the community. As we mentioned, that's what it's been all about this whole time. So here's what Show Me St. Louis really means to Show Me St. Louis.
It became clear that I was going to be the guy that came up with the direction and what we were going to do. And instantly I kind of leaned on my own St. Louis life, and I honestly kind of decided we're going to reintroduce St. Louis to itself, and we're going to go to the zoo like we've never gone to the zoo. We're going to go to the Arch like we've never gone to the Arch. Because honestly, no one in St. Louis television had really done it the way we were going to do it.
30 years of Show Me St. Louis means to me gratitude. This show and the people that have come before have set such a precedent for us here on this staff. It's clear that this show means something to St. Louis, it means something to the community, and because of that, I have fallen more and more in love with it.
For me, I feel like I am a part of amazing history. It feels amazing to, tell the stories of so many, and especially like the mom and pop shops.
That is my favorite thing about Show Me St. Louis. Back in the day when I would get feedback from a person that I did a story on, and they had a store or they had a restaurant, and they would say, oh my gosh, right after the story aired, my phone started ringing off the hook, and I can't believe how many people got to see what I do and how much it's helped my business.
So the biggest thing was the phone number, and we would put that phone number down on there, and before we could get done with the live shot, they would be reading their full screen. So we're live, we're at location, we just showed you the package, what we thought of the place. By the time they could even actually read that, the phone is ringing already. And that's how we said, look at that, immediate. It was just immediate. People would be calling, can I book this for a birthday party? Can I do this? And a lot of times those owners were just like, holy cow, and I just got 5 phone calls, I booked 2, They'd be like, can we advertise with you, basically? So it was, we filled a niche that no other TV station in St. Louis was doing.
Who doesn't have a good memory of Show Me St. Louis? Seems like everybody should have some sort of memory watching it or being on it.
Growing up watching this show, I feel like a product of Show Me St. Louis. My birthday parties, Crown Candy. I mean, I went to Crown Candy every year and we saw it on Show Me.
Show me St. Louis and the surrounding areas. So to me, it means show me all the great things about St. Louis, the great people who make up this community, who keep it thriving. And when I say community, I really stress community. And it was also all about the moms and their families. Our big thing was you and your family, you and your family. And I think it still holds true now. You know, what you and your family can do. From the Magic Houses to the Science Center, the Symphony, the Muni, the Fox. So it's all about where you can go, what you can do, and present it in a way that even if you can't go, we'll present it in a way where you can kind of experience it through us.
So for me, Show Me St. Louis, it's like this is where my life happened. This is when I got married. And then I had my first daughter, and then I had my second daughter. It all happened here. Those are major life events that happened. So putting the show aside, it really is the people. And really was how much we got along and actually cared for each other.
I would not change a single thing that happened from when I walked in this door as an intern in 1996 to kind of my path of being with Show Me and then going to be with Art and Jennifer to then also being on the 4, 5, and 6 with Kay and Mike and Ann, and then coming back to what I will always consider home and Show Me St. Louis.
Show Me St. Louis has survived, thrived. It's been a presence in the city, and it still is, you know. It has just continually grown and evolved.
2 days already?
2 days already.
Oh my goodness, time's going fast.
You know, it has made its mark, and it's still here. 30 years later, it has been a long journey, and it still continues.
Heck, we didn't think it'd make it a month. We didn't know. I never would have believed it'd be still going 30 years later. Never. But it's good to see. It's kind of like, you know, you give birth to something and you watch it take its first steps. And then you send it off on its own and you look back and it's still going. And I'm sure it'll still be going 30 years from today.
Producing what we did with Show Me St. Louis, it was another step up in learning to be a true producer. You had to produce from nothing. Those ideas weren't, you know, found on the scanner. You know, they didn't happen because something happened in the world. We had to find it, make it, and then put it together on television and then put it on television. It was the essence of true creative producing.
I knew it would last long beyond the original crew. I said no matter who comes along, if the mission stays true, which is the good of St. Louis, I knew it would last. I'm so glad to see it 30 years later, but I think it probably has another 30 in it, as long as it stays true to what is good.
Okay. Give one message to the next generation of Show Me St. Louis, to us. What would it be?
Just remember that St. Louis is the star. It's always the stars, and you're there to highlight the best of what this city and this region has to offer.
To continue to tell those great stories of St. Louisans in their voice and in your voice, and stay true to what the show was in the beginning. And it's all about St. Louis, and it's all about the great people.
My hope for the next generation of Show Me? I hope we continue showing St. Louis for another 30 years.
So to last for 30 years, it needs the community, the viewers, and the staff. It needs a village, so we're so excited! And it looks like like we have something rather exciting.
Yes,
here.
I'm going to do a stand-in for Mayor Kara Spencer,
Okay.
and if you'd allow me to read this. So, this is a proclamation from the City of St. Louis. Whereas for 3 decades, Show Me St. Louis has served as a vibrant, informative, entertaining, and engaging lifestyle program that showcases the people, the places, the businesses, and stories that make the greater St. Louis area unique and exceptional. And whereas its first airing in 1995, Show Me St. Louis quickly became a beloved daily tradition, tape it at 3, for viewers seeking to connect with their community, discover local gems, places to go, and stay informed about the latest events, innovations, and inspirations in the region. And whereas, through the dedication of its talented hosts, producers, and crew, Show Me St. Louis has highlighted thousands of local businesses, artists, nonprofits, and everyday citizens, shining a spotlight on the heart and soul of our fair city. And whereas the program has remained a trusted and uplifting source of entertainment and information, reflecting the evolving spirit of St. Louis, while continuing to celebrate its rich history and cultural diversity. And whereas, on the occasion of its 30th anniversary, we recognize Show Me St. Louis for its unwavering commitment to excellence in storytelling, community engagement, and local pride. Now, therefore, I, Alicia Elsner, on behalf of Kara Spencer, Mayor of the City of St. Louis, do hereby proclaim September 5th, 2025 as Show Me St. Louis Day in the City of St. Louis.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you to this team who they love when we have chefs here to eat the food.
And cake.
And they also love when we have bands here and they get to listen to music while they're working.
Whether it's rumbling the floors or not.
Yes,
but,
it
you
has
know.
been such a joy, and this show has been so fun to celebrate. So what a show.
Yes,
What a
yes.
show. But none of this would be possible without you all at home. So thank you so much to the St. Louis community for tuning in, for supporting us, and for supporting your community and showing up for your people. It's been an honor.
It's been an honor.
So how about we say we'll see you all Monday for your daily dose of good news?
Yeah.
Yes? There we go.
Let's do
Have
it.
a great weekend, everyone. This looks delicious. I know.